dressed to the nines. And maybe you know what I mean by dressed to the nines if I were to talk about accumulation of resources, money for leisure and time. And then leisure, of course, you could interrogatively categorize that as when, but I guess an abundance of when as well. And for starters, I have to ask the question whether action is in fact simply more important than money and time as both resources. For obviously, if the money that you're accumulating for the purpose of having time to tertiarily carry out some action, if that's so, if your action is towards preparing the action and you never actually do piecemeal, teilweise, the intended action that you wish to carry out, how do you know that? How do you know when too much money is when too much money is enough? That makes no sense, but yet it makes total sense. And maybe you don't need decades. Maybe you just need 5 minutes to do what you would do. And sexually, of course, that's enough, but maybe artistically as well. That's the first question. Now, obviously, we can all day long we can say, well, action, that's very general. Do we mean book composition? Do we mean some kind of risk, some kind of reproduction? Maybe founding of a nation, or an event like revaluation of all values. Not only breaking some tablets, but permitting ourselves new ones as well. If following a law is in fact easier than being free, totally free. So is A more important than B or C? And they're all just nouns, right? And then there's always a fourth, or an n plus first noun, which is value or importance in play. This is how you would parse natural language sentences, and with the two-column composition method, where on the left-hand side you compose your sentences, but on the right you keep in mind a kind of heap of values. So not only are you assigning really numerical, it could be 100 points or 0.1, 0.2, as long as they're comparative, different relevance scores. And I think relevance should remind of search engine design as well, because you're going to have to decide in a query, okay, which terms are actually the more relevant, which words in any query. So the question is even arguably trite. Why not just get, in plain English, why not just get started with what you intend to do when currently all your action is dedicated toward the gathering of acorns, as though you were a squirrel, gathering resources for some winter? Why not just do right now with limited resources, or even none? Maybe you don't need the resources. Maybe you have a misconception. Maybe you need no time and no money to even do what you want to do, but you're wasting your life accumulating money for the time and losing not just your time, but your youth, more important, right? But anyway, more abstractly speaking, with the two-column composition method, we should keep in mind value judgments, howsoever the seesaw were to swing. So we don't care to get into a debate like, A is more important than B, and that's reality. And then the other side is going to say, no, B is more important than A. We're just talking about importance and allocation of importance, which then, if it's always the seesaw, then on the face of things, it's always a relational term. And so we should be asking ourselves again, which nouns then that we're obligated to employ as English speakers or thinkers are for our goals, whatever those are. I don't know, I forgot. Maybe I'm just speaking goals. Isn't that an example of a vague plural? We could talk more about what a vague plural is in another video. To cut to the chase, however, in this one, then, which nouns do we, whoever we are, because I don't know who you are. It's really just an I that's fabricating other persons to whom to speak. It's kind of there's no hero and there's no chorus. There's someone who imagines himself a hero who was decried by the chorus or praised by the chorus and so on. It's a kind of soliloquy with we, I, you, but maybe it's just all worse than asexual reproduction because there's no evolution, or there's just devolution towards a worsening, and the organic life form will eventually perish in an inorganic continuum. And that's about it. So I just wanted to make that stupid, trite joke, but also to get started further with the project. And some of these efforts will, as always, be throwaway that they expose one or two repeated mistakes, and that's about it. So if you can identify the repeated mistakes, then maybe you've completely characterized a self that thinks of its own way for a decade, so you can maybe compress time and cheat death. Voila.